Hey everyone, Fulza here. Today I just wanted to go over a few ways that you can still impact the game while you're inting. So these methods will only work if your team is either ahead or even, because if you're inting and your team is inting, 90% of the time that game is over unless the enemy team throws or you hard outscale. So the three methods are split pushing and running it down the side lane, killing enemies who aren't the top laner, and team fighting. So in this video, I'll go over killing the enemies that aren't the top laner, and I'll show an example game of that, and then in future videos, I'll go over the other two methods. So you want to use this method when the enemy top laner is giga gapping you, and you can't really fight him. So instead, you just go kill the enemy mid laner and the opposite side lane. So you look to push waves, push the tower, and then get kills on the enemy mid laner, and then using those kills, you look to get more kills on the enemy mid, bot, jungle, and support, and then eventually you gain enough gold and you get strong enough that you can kill the enemy top laner as well. So in this specific game, I was against Aatrox, which is already a pretty hard matchup for me, and I end up getting giga gapped. I died 7 times in lane, and now I'm 0-7. So in this position, or more like 5 deaths ago, most top laners will mental boom. They'll start pinging their team, pinging everything, spamming FF votes, typing the game's over, and just completely ruining the vibe for everyone. So the first step to winning a game while you're inting is keeping a good mental and realizing that your team's ahead, the game's winnable, and it's possible, you just have to focus up. So what I realized to do here is that I'm never going to win a fight ever against this Aatrox, so I have to avoid him and push where he's not. So because I know he's going to roam mid to look for a fight and then look to fight the dragon, I push top for now and I look to get the tower and plates because I know that if we fight a 5v5 we won't win. So I tell my team to give the dragon and let me push top so I can get a tower. My team didn't listen, they all died, but it ended up still being fine because I got a tower and a half top, so it kind of made up for the loss. Like if they hadn't died and they just gave the dragon like I said, it would have been much better, but I mean, you can't choose what your team does. Luckily for us, Azir decided to fuck around and find out what happens when you go melee range on an 0-7 Garen. So that helps us get back into the game by giving us an extra 300 gold on top of the gold that we got from the tower top and the plates. So now that the top tower is gone and dragon's not up, the safest lane to push is bot lane, so we go there. So now I'm looking to kill Azir, and I want to approach from an off angle or a bush because I know that he has ult, so if I just run at him in Gale Force, he'll just ult me away. So I sit in my little pocket of vision here, wait for him to come up, and then one-shot him. We go back to pressuring bot lane because Azir is dead, but Aatrox shows up, so we just back off, give him some space, and just clear what we can. So here I realize we're at a point where I've come back enough that if we one-shot the Aatrox with my ult, that we can fight this dragon instead of me pushing top, so I look to do that with my team. Sadly, the fight didn't go how we wanted it to. My ult wasn't up when we engaged an Aatrox, so I wasn't able to one-shot him. So we ended up going 4 for 4 and then running back to look to see if we could fight the dragon. Ended up not being able to. And then we just kind of run around for a little bit, find a pick on Aatrox, and then we go back to split pushing. team started fighting around Baron, so we walked down instead of pushing top. We ended up killing the enemy team a couple times, but we never have an opportunity to Baron, so we just do a couple rounds of killing enemies, and then we take our resets. So just to recap, we've gone from 0-7-0 to 6-8-3 by killing the enemy mid laner a couple times in the side lane and then fighting with our team a couple times as well. And now the dragon's coming up and we want to fight this, so I go sit in a bush near the enemy red buff and I wait. And either the jungler's going to come to take it or the AD carry will, and then I'll get a free pick before dragon, and then hopefully we can take it off of that. So that's a huge pick for us. I also attract the attention of Azir so that my team gets to 3v2 the Nautilus and the Aatrox in the mid lane. My Q actually bugs here. It's the dumbest bug in the game. I hate it. It's disgusting. You do your entire Q animation and you don't silence and you don't do any damage. It happens when your auto hits them at like the frame that your Q timer runs out. It's just very, very tilting. If that goes off there, I kill him and I get out, but instead we just die, which is kind of sad, but it doesn't matter. The outcome's still the same. Our team gets the dragon, and we also get to push mid as well. So now we spawn, we go bot, and you can just watch this AD carry player get absolutely bush gapped, is what I'll call it. Sadly, our team kind of runs it down for no reason, so the enemy team gets Baron while we're pushing bot here and killing the enemy carry. So we just push bot lane until someone stops us, and then as soon as someone comes, we walk into the enemy jungle and look to see if we can get a pick. So we get a couple kills, we get the inhib, we back off, dragon's coming up, so again I'm going to look for my thing where I go to the enemy jungle and look to camp in a bush. Sadly, it doesn't work out. This is one of those times where, I mean, you go early and you try to look for it, but I mean, someone's just in the bush and you just die, and it happens, you know, it's sad, but it happens and you just gotta deal with it. So we die here, and then our team is forced to go up the dragon. So now we're back on the map. Mid inhib is down, so no need to push that lane. Dragon just got taken, so it's best for me to be pushing bot. And we just have our team go top. So we go 4-1, mid pushes by itself, so the enemy team has to stop our top laner, and then we can push bot. And at this point, we've come back enough that nobody can match us in the side lane by themselves. So right now I could back off, but I realized that I have super minions at the enemy nexus, so I just dance around with the Azir just so I can give the supers as much time as possible to get damage on the tower. So I head over to start looking for Baron, which is actually a huge misplay by me, and I want to explain why. So at this point we have 2 inhibs down, right? So those waves push in by themselves, and if I'm in bot lane and I'm pressuring that, because nobody can match me, like we just win the game if the enemy team goes 4v4 at the Baron, because I'm pretty sure my team wins 4v4, and I can hard push the side lane and I can win the side lane as well. But instead, by me going top and going around the Baron, because I'm so squishy, they can just use Nautilus ult and Kai'Sa ult to kill me. Then my team kind of falls apart here. So it was a whole bad thing. The real play was to push a side lane, push bot or push mid with the supers, and like pressure the end of the game, because that way they're forced to back for me. But instead, I go here and I kind of grief it. That's my bad. So we griefed a little bit, but now Dragon's coming up. It's soul point for them. They have Baron. We have to do something, right? So you know what time it is? We run to the enemy jungle, look for a pick. Oh, Graves is walking up. Not anymore, man. Goodbye. We get the pick on Graves. We use the Gale Force to get out. 250 gold from first strike, by the way. A little bit nuts. But now, I know Dragon's not coming up for another minute, and I know Graves will spawn before the Dragon spawns, so I'm like, hold up. Why don't I just go sit in the farthest bush and just wait for Graves to spawn and then kill him again? This would have been perfect. And it kind of was. I still kill the Graves, but sadly, my team loses 44 while I'm doing this. So it kind of delays the enemy team with Dragon, but Kai'Sa can just solo it, so it doesn't end up doing much. I think the better play here was to run bot instead of waiting in the bush here and trying to end the game and pressure for that. Because the problem was, I thought that I couldn't end the game because I thought they would just back with supers. With Baron back. But if I do that and I force them to back, then my team can maybe sneak the Dragon while they're preoccupied with me. So at this point, we end up dying to the Kai'Sa. Doesn't really matter. The game just ends because I end up dying, but we have Rise ult, so we just Rise ult 4 people in and end the game. So we started this game 0-7-0, and we ended 12-13 with the most damage on our team, which is kind of insane. So to recap, for this method of coming back, you avoid the enemy top laner and match the enemy mid laner in the side lane, look to get a couple kills on them, push for tower gold and damage, and then once you're strong enough, you can look to get picks in the enemy jungle before objectives and teamfight with your team. That'll do it for this video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask either in the comments, on Reddit, Discord, or Twitch. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.